Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, Season 3, Episode 17, Sign, Steal, and Delivered. I am your host, Eric, my main man right over there. Ron, how are you tonight?
Doing okay.
Okay, that's what we like to hear. Lot to cover. Obviously, if you didn't have an opportunity last night to check out the NFL Draft Watch Party, check that out. It's on all of our social media platforms. 4 hours of some phenomenal draft insight. Maybe a little too long. I'm sure Ron will want to talk about that later on in the show. But we are going to just start off with our leadoff story, and that is one Lamar Jackson, who has signed with the Baltimore Ravens. Which side made out better in this deal, Ron? How do you feel this benefits which side, the Baltimore Ravens or Lamar Jackson?
I think it benefited both sides, to be honest with you. I mean, first of all, you got the team aspect. They got their guy.
Yeah.
And he signed, so they don't have to worry about having a quarterback. Look, if he's going to be on the field for the whole season, they're a contender.
That's a win. Yeah.
And his aspect, I mean, he's the highest paid right now, right? So
guaranteed highest paid player right now. 5 years, $260 million, $185 million guaranteed. Hurts signed for $255, so $5 million more than Hurts.
Yeah, and it's I had a little more of a problem with Hurts getting the money. I mean, a couple of years, But with Lamar Jackson, I think it's a little different because, like, we've seen him carry this team without anything. So it's not a question of his skill level. It is now the only question is the team going to stay healthy? That is the question.
Yeah,
has nothing to do with his skill.
Yeah, the biggest concern for me would be on the Ravens side is there's 2 straight years where he decided he wasn't going to play or couldn't play at the end of the season, obviously going into a playoff push. How important that becomes later on in this contract if he's unable to go. But I also like the fact that they're building around him. They picked up OBJ. They picked up Zay Flowers yesterday in the draft. So they're trying to get him wide receivers. I thought that piece shows that they're committed to at least making sure that they put players around him.
Yeah.
So that he can be successful and possibly want to play even through an injury because he's going to have guys on that field that can make plays when he cannot.
Right.
So benefit for him is that the team is investing in him. Although I will say it's not as much guaranteed money as he would have liked, $185 million, not the Deshaun Watson money, but we're going to talk about that real quick. So
but that's the right number.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Deshaun Watson kind of threw everything off. The Cleveland Browns just made a mess of everything.
Absolutely. Average pay per year, top 5 players. Now, Lamar Jackson will be at $52 million, highest paid. Hurts 51, Rodgers 50.2, Russell Wilson at 50, and then Kyler Murray, your boy, your guy, 49.2, rounds out the top 5. Guaranteed money, though, that's where it got a little different. Deshaun Watson, $230 million guaranteed, highest paid, highest ever. Kyler Murray, number 2, 189.5. Lamar Jackson comes in at 185. Jalen Hurts, 179.3. And then Russell Wilson at 165.
Boy, does that sound like a list that is just terrible?
But this is my point. So this, Ron, when we argued about Daniel Jones, and you said they paid him way too much money, if you look at what the averages are for some of what these guys are making, honestly, Daniel Jones is not making a lot for a quarterback. As crazy as it sounds,
No,
he's
he
not.
is. I mean, come on, 40 million for a guy that
That's a quarterback.
average
Quarterbacks
at
are making 50 million now.
yeah, well, that's the problem. And who's going to pay for it? The fans.
Yeah, pretty much. All the teams, because eventually you're not going to be able to put players around them that are effective enough to help you win. But look, Lamar Jackson, this was going on for quite some time. The fact that they got it done right before the draft, I think that's a bigger win for the Ravens because
Right.
that secured them to be able to make some decisions on draft day that
Yeah.
benefit them versus having to figure out if they had to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, because if they would have had to either draft a quarterback or trade for one, I mean, who's going to trade one at this point? I mean, really, there was only talk about maybe one or two quarterbacks possibly moving.
You just love saying his name. Go ahead, say it.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
I know where you're going,
there's
yeah.
only a couple of quarterbacks that were rumored to be moving, and it wouldn't really have helped the team because I don't think the team was good enough for one of those quarterbacks that were available.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I think Lamar Jackson is much better than those quarterbacks that could have moved.
Agreed. Let's continue on this NFL theme, though, because we want to talk about another big move that happened this past week. Aaron Rodgers is now officially been traded to the New York Jets. Does this make the Jets a Super Bowl contender in your mind?
No.
Why not?
Because in my mind, I don't think Aaron Rodgers can get there again.
Based on, I mean, again, more talent and better talent in New York, a top 5 defense. You could say that this is probably his best opportunity he's had in quite some time. Green Bay never put a defense around him.
Let me put it this way, Eric.
That does look weird, though.
Let me put it this way. How does it look weird? It looks the same thing when Brett Favre went.
I don't know.
Same team from, same team to.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think he's capable of winning another Super Bowl.
Okay.
And I think it's
I mean, I think the AFC is much more difficult when you've got
he's not gonna
Buffalo, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Those 3 teams are not going away.
No.
And then you still got like a Miami, the Chargers, now the Ravens. They're all contenders here.
Yeah.
So it may be a much more difficult hurdle for him to get past on some of those teams. I also wanted to discuss draft night, them not picking up an offensive lineman for protection and deciding to go defense. That's similar to what Green Bay used to do to him every year, and hence why he started to struggle.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, that's another reason why I don't think this is making them a contender either. I mean, first of all, it is the Jets. We can't forget that.
Yeah, Kenny loves to point that out. Yes, it's the Jets.
And until they break out of all of those things that make them the Jets, they're the Jets.
Yeah, no, listen, I think this is the best team he's had in quite some time. We'll have to see. But again, you're asking a 39-year-old quarterback who's not as mobile now in a line that's suspect. This could be a problem.
Yeah, and if you all you have to do is just look at Brady. Like, how easy was it for Brady last year? Not very.
No, with that line that was beat up and injured, it's a biggest struggle.
Right. And, when you have to go out there and you get hit, you're going to feel that hit. And every game, it gets more and more difficult to recover from it. And by the end of the season, I don't know if he's going to have enough in the tank because, look, not everybody's a Brady and can play till 45.
Yeah. Listen, this is a gamble. This is a big gamble by the Jets because you're asking a lot, and the expectation would be that, again, he's going to play multiple years, not just one season, which could be a possibility. And we'll see once this season comes about how important if he plays 65% of the time, the Green Bay Packers get another number 1 pick next year.
Right.
I'd almost feel like he's going to try to get to 64 and then just sit it out, just to make sure he still gets one more last, ding in Green Bay and say, look, haha, you don't get that number 1 pick.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that because, I mean, it depends on how well the team is playing. I mean, if the team is playing well, you're going to play them all. And then it's worth giving up the pick if you're going to make the playoffs and advance possibly to.
Yeah, because then it's a late pick, right? Yeah, so
Right.
maybe. We also had the NFL draft last night, Ron. And
I didn't notice that.
If you don't remember, let's talk real quick. Some winners and losers. Who are some of your winners?
Well, the big winner, I think, has to be Philadelphia,
which is insane, right? I had Philly on my list. Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith getting both of those players.
There. Both of them are a steal, to be honest with you.
Yeah, especially Smith dropped down in late 20s. I thought Seattle 30, did well. Right? Huh?
Didn't he go 30 or they moved up a spot?
They moved up. Moved up.
They moved up to wherever it was. No, there was that 30.
Was it 30 on that one?
Yeah, it was 30.
You are correct, sir. Yep. So that was a steal. I thought Seattle did really well. Witherspoon, the cornerback, but then again Smith.
But they could have done better.
They could have done better, but I like the Smith, Najigba move.
They did get good players.
Yeah, I thought
especially where they drafted. I think they could have gotten slightly better players. Maybe not the receiver. I think he was the best receiver in the draft. But I mean, they could have gotten something that might have helped them even more. But with that being said, they did get the best receiver, and they got a guy that was listed number 2 on my list for
cornerback.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
So I think they did really well.
Yeah. I liked what Arizona did. I thought Arizona did well. Paris Johnson Jr. getting the best offensive lineman to protect that investment that you spend a lot of money on.
Right.
I thought that was pretty good. Liked Buffalo as well with Kincaid. I thought for a late pick, 1-2 on the tight end, they got probably the best tight end in the draft, if not the second. Well, but one of the top 2 tight ends, and then I thought Baltimore picking up Zay Flowers. I thought that was a win.
Yep, that was also. I like that. I like that pick a lot, actually. Yeah. That is one of the ones that we got right. And I think that was exactly what they needed because they need a guy to go across the middle, and you're not going to do that with Beckham.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that was the right pick at the right time, and they got a solid player there.
Yeah. No, I like that. You have any other winners?
He could be a budding superstar.
Oh boy. Do you have any other winners last night?
Yes, Houston. I mean, I know they gave up a lot.
But then the trade up, right? Get Will Anderson.
Right. They gave up a lot. And, watching all the experts on all these other networks, it's like, oh, they gave up too much. He now has to be a Hall of Famer to make it worthwhile. And I'm like, well, why does that have to be? And maybe he will be, but I don't think he has to be a Hall of Famer to make that worth it. I mean, if you get a high quality player and he turns out to be have a great career, it doesn't mean that you need him to be a Hall of Famer, but you need him to be a solid, good player.
And the kicker was, Ron, if he came out last year, they said he would have been the number 1 pick.
Right.
Without a doubt, hands down. So again, because the quarterbacks you normally go 1, 2, 3, somewhere in that area anyway, they got themselves the best defensive player the last 2 years in college football.
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense. Again, the coach there is now, he's a defensive minded coach. He can build around that. I thought that was a great move.
They have a lot of good young talent there, so, I mean, we'll find out whether or not it's going to pan out. All of these, young players that they have, I do know that at least one player is going to pan out, and that is, Anderson. I think
You
he's
may
going
be
to.
right. You may be right.
I think he is the sure thing out of all this.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And now, if Stroud becomes their starter, which I believe he will be, I think they've got a good young quarterback that could be in the mix of things, for many years to
Yeah.
come.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whether or not this franchise, gets out of its own way.
We will soon find out.
That's
We
the
will
thing
soon
that
find out.
worries me
Yeah.
because I think they made the right picks. They did the right things. And that was the big move, moving up and getting that number 3 pick and still getting the guy that they wanted.
Yeah.
So they led everybody to believe that they wanted to take him. And then they took Stroud. And then they went out and they made the deal and they picked him anyway.
Yeah. No.
That's a lot of that's guts. Right
That
there.
takes some moxie. Moxie
Yeah.
would be the word, right?
Yep.
What about some losers last night?
Oh my God, that has to be Detroit. That has to be
Number
Detroit.
one, first one I put up on my
God.
Detroit.
Jack Campbell, really?
Jack
Really?
Campbell,
You
Gibbs.
could have picked him up in like the 3rd or 4th round.
We didn't need a running back. That one was questionable. 32nd overall and defensively. And the one defensive guy you got was a stretch. It wasn't even one of the top defensive guys on the board. I thought Green Bay did poorly as well. Green Bay not getting a offensive guy to help Love to build some confidence for him, to show you're going in a different direction. They went after Van Ness, who's a edge rusher, and you sit back and you look at what they did with Aaron Rodgers all those years, and it was the same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, you're saying it's a loss. But when you look at it, they actually won versus the Jets.
Yeah, I think they did better than the Jets. Yeah, I had the
Because
Jets not
They
drafting an
both
offensive
went
line.
for the same position.
Yeah.
And Green Bay got the better guy.
Yeah.
I mean, so they did swap picks. It could have gone the other way, and the Jets could have gone and picked that guy instead.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. So I had the Jets on there. And then my last one, I had Indianapolis. I thought that was a stretch.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Anthony Richardson isn't a good player, but that I thought was a major stretch.
Yeah, I didn't. I wavered a little on whether or not I wanted to put him there. I mean, look, the kid could be good. I mean, I don't know. I think that was a stretch there. I think not getting one of those two guys. Obviously, they could have just sat and got a quarterback in the 2nd round.
Well,
Obviously,
look at Levis
that
is
would have
still
been
not
able to
around, right?
happen. Right.
Levis still around. And I would also say that I realizing that the kid only started 13 games in his college career.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
He's very raw. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of learning that he's going to need to do. And if that's on the field, that might not be too good of a scenario for the Indianapolis Colts.
That's a little scary. Look, when it's all said and done, I don't think Indianapolis is doing a very good job the past few years in the front office. Whether that's Irsay having too much say.
Oh, look at you!
I don't like the direction.
That may be hearsay, Ron, is what I'm hearing.
It could be.
Okay.
But you can say what you want. But the facts are the facts.
The facts of life. You take the good, you take the bad. So it is time for triple play, my friend.
Grounded to 3rd. There's 1. There's 2. There it is. It's a triple play.
Triple play time. We are going to debate who we start bench and cut from these 3 NBA playoff scoring leaders this season, and that's Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, and Kawhi Leonard. You are first this week, my friend, so you can start us off.
Yeah, this was difficult. This was really difficult, and the reason why it was so difficult, it's really because of the health of one Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. How do you rate him based off of his health?
Right. And I mean, when you look at those numbers, I mean, those are some good numbers. Um, 628 games, which he should be way beyond that by now. 19.6 points, 6.4 boards, and 3 assists. He's got the best 3-point shooting percentage of the three.
Yep. Which is
Um,
crazy to think about.
but he does have the what is it? Is it 49.5?
49.5 field
Yeah,
goal
so he's
percentage, which
also
was
got
the best
the
out of these
best
three as
field
well.
goal percentage. And then you look at the accolades, so it's a steals championship, defensive player of the year twice, all defensive teams 7 times, um
NBA.
all NBA. Yeah, thank you. I can't read my writing. 5 times,
Yeah.
all-star 5 times, all rookie, 2 championships, the only one of the 3 that has championships, and 2 finals MVPs. So when they won the championship, he was the reason. So it was very difficult for me with him. So all in all, I went with Devin Booker, who had the most points per game. And the only accolades really is an All NBA and 3 All Stars and
Mhm.
1 All Rookie. Other than that, that's it.
Agreed.
But I still feel he is the player I would put as a starter and have Kawhi Leonard come off the bench because he is the actual better player. But I don't want to play him get hurt. So but I wasn't going to release him and cut him, and unfortunately, I cut Jimmy Butler. Look, I like Jimmy Butler as a player too, and I really wanted him on this team, but just not going to make it this time.
Oh, I gotcha. I went a little bit different. I did go Booker as my starter, but I benched Jimmy Butler, and it was
It was
because of
hard
all
for
the
me to keep
injuries. I couldn't,
Kawhi
especially after it's so fresh in my mind right now with the
that
Clippers
he's out. Yeah,
that
I
he's
know.
out, and it's like, here you go again. And now it's another, I think,
Yeah,
meniscus tear in his knee.
yeah, I
So who
know.
knows how long that is.
That's why it
But
was tough. It
yeah,
was tough.
yeah. And Jimmy Buckets, I mean, if you look at what he's been doing, I
Yeah,
mean, he single handedly got Miami past Milwaukee this year. So you want a guy with some heart. Jimmy Butler's your guy. And then Devin Booker to me is still just one of those pure shooters, and he
yeah,
can score. The kid can put points up. But
yeah.
that wasn't bad. Not bad though. It's a tough one. That's a
It
very
was
tough
tough,
one.
and it's because of his injuries.
Yeah, because you wanna sit back and say, okay, it's not a big deal, but it really will be if you're
It is.
depending on him and
Yeah,
he's not gonna
no,
be
it
there.
is. It is.
All right, let's
Yeah.
talk some more NBA. And we've got the Boston Celtics. So they closed out their series with the Atlanta Hawks. Do you think now that they are the favorites in the East based on the fact that the Bucks are out?
Well, that's not what everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about 76ers, so I guess they're not the favorite. Which is probably the better thing because if they're talking about the Celtics, then there's room for disappointment, correct?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I looked at it this way. To me, Miami beating the Bucks and how they beat the Bucks. Now they get the Knicks, and I think they get past the Knicks. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
To me, if Boston has to face Miami, I think Miami's such a tough defensive matchup for them that I would go Miami in that series, especially if Jimmy Butler is playing the way he's been playing
Yeah.
in the
No.
playoffs. Yeah.
No, I think the winner of the 76ers Celtics games goes to the finals and wins.
See, the problem too, though, does Boston have that killer instinct? We said it. Game 5, it should have been a wrap. It should have been,
Right.
done
That's
deal.
what I'm afraid of.
And that's where I say I feel like Miami has more. Jimmy Butler has that. He can carry a team. He scored 50 points in the last game to make sure that they got past Milwaukee, even with Giannis back, and Giannis getting 20 rebounds and almost 40 points.
Yeah, but that's all that was happening.
But Jimmy Butler made sure that he was the neutralizer in that situation. I would fear Miami more than I fear Philadelphia. And that's why we're going to talk about Philadelphia. Can they win without a full and healthy Joel Embiid?
No.
Right. So that changes the whole perception of this next series for Boston.
Right.
This should be, again, another easy series based
I don't know
off of the
about
fact
easy, but
James Harden is not the James Harden of 5 years
no,
ago.
but I mean, Maxi's a good player. Like,
Yeah.
let's not forget him. I mean, he's
Embiid's
a
an
good
MVP
player.
candidate. Embiid is the guy.
Oh, I know he is.
He's the one that you can't match up. Even Rob Williams
No.
cannot match up with him.
Look, if he is out, they're not winning it. They're not winning it. And that's just how it is because he's the only guy that isn't going to be able to be matched up. I mean, yeah, you can put Horford and Williams on him, but that's going to leave somebody open.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know who that's going to be. It's going to be either Harden or Maxey that's going to be left open. And that's a difficult task. Now, can the Celtics do that? Yes, they can. They can play good enough defense that they make it very difficult for Embiid to move. You got to play tough and physical and not go over the line. And you're going to have to empty out your bench to do it because you're going to have to give some minutes to those guys like Griffin and give them some hard minutes on Embiid. And you got to make him pay when he gets the ball in the paint. You got to make him pay. And that's the way you're going to be able to stop them.
I will say this too. Think about the fact that when he does come back, how healthy will he be? Let's just say he does. I mean, will that knee be a factor in him not being able to play and be a dominant force? That benefits
he
Boston.
Might not have that power in his legs to really, drive into the basket.
I'm looking forward to that Knicks Miami series, though. I hope that's back like the '90s days with Zoe and Ewing and all those guys.
That'd all those guys that didn't win.
You remember though? Those series were like just bare knuckles.
Yeah.
There were haymakers being thrown every game in those series.
Yeah.
Ron, Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball. Let's talk some Yankees again because Aaron Judge now has his first injury of the season.
You mean that fourth place team?
Is this a good sign for the Yankee slugger?
This is terrible for the Yankee slugger. He's out with that hip, and they don't even know how bad it's really going to be.
And I know he's like 6'7", but I don't think he plays in the NBA. I'm just going to let you know that. The graphics on NBA, and I don't want people to think that we're saying Aaron Judge is not going to the NBA. He's not going to play for the Knicks this year.
You got to give me a chance to change it.
What I will say is this, Ron, think about it. Last year, he played the second most games in his MLB career, but because it was a contract year. And as soon as he signed his 9-year, $360 million deal, my concerns were he has not played a full season anytime in his career. Here we go now.
Yeah.
And he's not really playing well right now. 92 at bats. He's batting 261, which is about 20 plus points below his batting average. 6 home runs, 14 RBIs, 42 strikeouts. Doesn't sound like a 9-year, $360 million deal right now for me. That's working out for the New York Yankees.
No, I mean, it's terrible looking right now, and unfortunately, I'm not so sad.
Yeah, I can clearly see that. I can clearly tell that it's not bothering you at all.
No, and what's even bothering me less is that they're talking like this could linger for a while.
Yeah,
again, they don't even know what's wrong.
Yeah, this could be a Bo Jackson situation. Here we go, and that's fully guaranteed.
That would be terrible.
But yes, it would be.
No,
yes,
I joke about it because he's a Yankee, but I mean, he's a likable player, and this is why I said last year that Major League Baseball needs to promote, better. They should be promoting Devers and Aaron Judge together. Like, that's what people want to see. They want to see that commercial of Major League Baseball with these two guys in the commercial.
that rivalry again. Bring back Boston, New York rivalry, right? With these two young guys.
Right, and they're always smiling. Like that's what you want to promote. But now, if this is an injury that is going to hinder his career, I mean, let's face it, he's a big man, and if the hip is going to be a constant, problem,
Yeah.
that's going to hinder his career.
Shakira said it best: hips don't lie. So when you look at it, I mean, realistically, this could be something that lingers for his entire career. I mean, you can, once a hip goes, sometimes it's not. Those aren't areas that normally you can have surgery and everything's going to be okay afterwards.
Mm. Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, he doesn't get in any trouble, so you kind of like the guy. He does his thing. I mean, he might be a little square, but it is hip to be square.
So the Yankees are in trouble here. It's getting worse. This season is going to be a train wreck, which brings me to my future.
Well, they're fourth right now.
My future prospects. What I tell you a couple weeks, I said Aaron Boone will be fired. The Yankees won't make the postseason. And guess what? Guess what segment it is now, Ron? It's future prospect time. This is the segment of the show where we make two bold statements that we know will happen in the future. So, Ron, you are first tonight. What is your first future prospect?
All right, let me take a look at this. If I can read my writing, it's so small. Okay, so this one doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but if we know these teams, it would be kind of like a miracle if this actually happens. So there will be a day in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
That Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Arizona, and the Minnesota Twins are all in first place in their divisions.
Unreal. It could happen. It may happen. Isn't that insane to think about right now? Major League Baseball is like literally in some, what was it? The underground world and Stranger Things, upside down world. That's what it was. They're in the upside down world right now, Major League Baseball. That's a good one. I like that one.
How about that, huh?
That is a good one. That is a very good one.
I mean, when you look at it, look at it this way too. Like St. Louis Cardinals are last in their division. The Red Sox are last in their division, and the Yankees are only right above them. Yeah. Chicago White Sox has now lost 9 of the last 10. I mean, it is just incredible what's going on.
Insane. I'm telling you, upside down world. My first one is the Detroit Lions. After last night's draft, have blown their opportunity to win the NFC North and will not even make the playoffs. They were eliminated last season on the last game. They are not even making the playoffs.
Back to 2 and
based on their draft and what draft picks they picked up. That's how poorly I felt they did in the draft.
And they're all going to be in Gamblers Anonymous.
Yes. Plus half their team's suspended for gambling. Your second future prospect, Ron.
All right. I also went football with this one. I'm giving everybody an insight on who's going to win the divisions next year.
Wow. You're all right. Before we even do our NFL preview show, you are giving us your future prospect on the NFL.
All right. Here's the division winners for the AFC: Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals. And then the other division will be the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags again. Okay.
Okay. That's not the big news, though. In the NFC, we have Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Okay. They won it. They probably go to the Super Bowl. Minnesota will return. Mm-hmm. Carolina will win the division.
The Panthers, the big pickup yesterday.
And to top it all off, it is not going to be San Francisco. It is going to be Seattle.
Wow. Okay. Nice. Decent. I like it. I like where you went there. I love the Carolina one. Not bad. Not bad at all. I have a trade that's going to happen in the NBA.
Oh,
Trae Young will be
Yeah.
traded
yeah, that's obvious.
to the Houston Rockets. Ime
Ooh.
Aduka is going to want to make a move that is going to get his team automatically back into the playoffs. Trae Young will be that player that gets the Houston Rockets back to the playoffs. That is my future prospect.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's like the only one that you've come up with that I really, really, really like.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'm getting better at this. I have to. Ime Aduka in Houston. He's got to make a move, and I think Trae
Yeah.
Young. Why not? The kid's still got talent.
Yeah, he does. He just needs to find someone to motivate him.
Yeah, and I think
That's what it comes down to. I mean, I just don't think he gets up for enough games until it's too late.
Very true.
And,
Very true.
But he just needs a champion to visit him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why not bring Olajuwon in the picture and say, hey, you know what? Follow this guy around.
Yeah. No.
That's a good
I'm really starting to like this segment. This is my second favorite segment on this show now. I really like this one.
It is good.
So, Ron, it is NHL time. You are my NHL hockey guru, all things hockey. We've got to talk about your team now, the Boston Bruins. So they're going to face Florida tonight in Game 6. We're going to bring up that great Olmark attempt to stop the puck.
Oh, my God. Don't even make me relive this.
Is this series going 7? There's some rumors out there that the Panthers are already talking. They're guaranteeing a win tonight. The Panthers.
Yeah, Kachuk opened his mouth, I believe.
They want to go back to Boston.
That was stupid for him to say that. Dumb.
So you think it motivates Boston enough to
my
get past this?
God.
Or does this go 7 games, Ron?
No, it's over tonight. It's over tonight.
Are you not concerned with the sloppiness, though, that this team has played? This is now Game 6. And I can only say that there's probably been 2 or 3 periods that they've really looked solid. Like they've looked like the Boston Bruins team of the regular season.
See, I think they looked really good the other night in Game 5. And they should have won that game.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That was – oh, no.
Game 5, they should have won that game. I mean,
yeah, they kept coming back. They kept – the problem was they kept playing from behind, and then they would come back and tie it.
Yeah, well,
and then
Hallmark made that gaffe.
But Marchand also had that shot at the end of the third period.
Yeah, he had to rush that shot.
He rushed it, but I think he could have hit that.
No, look,
it was close.
It was one of those things that he because when he skated over the line, and I could see him, he looked at the clock and he had like 2 seconds, and he had to shoot it. So as soon as he was in a position to shoot, that's what he did, and he had no choice because if he would have waited a half a second later, it wouldn't have counted.
So who's the player tonight that needs to get going early for the Boston Bruins to just not even have to worry about the Panthers?
Pasta. I think Pasta has a monster game today. I think I got a feeling that maybe Krejci could be in this game.
They said he skated with no contact jersey, though.
Yeah, they may wait another game unless they have to put him in. So I'm looking at Pasta having a big game, and I'm looking at Frederick coming back into the lineup. I don't know. I don't know if it was just a coach's decision to sit him out. I would not have done that. I think he's too valuable for the Bruins to sit him out. He had 17 goals this season, and he can fire up a team. And when you're facing a team that is basically acting like thugs, that's a guy that you need in the lineup.
Yeah,
you need him in there. I'm sorry, I think Lauko is going to be a good player for them next year. But I think Frederick is too important, and I don't see that his game was suffering, before they sat him out. I don't think.
How about Linus Olmark? Again, a little shaky here or there, but there some injury concerns. You think that is the reason why he may not look like he's as dominant as he did in the regular season?
No, I think he might be okay. I just think that you're playing a playoff team now. I mean, and they're playing consecutive games. So there's going to be those times where, you're going to give up goals against a team look, they have Kachuk. That's a goal scorer, and he does more than just goal scorers. And he tips the scales. He's one of the best players in the league, unfortunately. But he is dangerous, and they have to be a little more leery of that line. And I think they've been a little sloppy with the puck with that line. That's where they have to get better against that, the Bennett and Kachuk line.
So do you want to guarantee a victory for the Boston Bruins tonight?
I don't guarantee anything. I don't do that. But yes.
All right, there you go. Don't let Kachuk get in your head. You guarantee a victory, Ron. You are telling the Boston Bruins right now tonight it's a guaranteed win, no doubt. The Florida Panthers just stay home because you're not coming back to Boston.
If Frederick does play, I guarantee he's going to play against Kachuk, and he's gonna take a run at him.
Okay, all right.
Kachuk is just throwing his weight around, and he's acting like an idiot half the time.
There's another series that's going on, and that's the Rangers and the Devils. And the Rangers now down 3-2, and we all expect it, right? They went up 2-0 in that series.
Yep.
New Jersey's come back 1-3 straight.
Yeah.
Is this surprising to you? Or do you feel like, look, New Jersey was a good team all year, and we expected them to be in this position? They were the third seed.
Yeah, like we had talked about it before when they went down 2-0 after, being in New Jersey, then having to go to New York. And you had pointed out that, they are better on the road. And so you kind of knew that they were going to take at least one of those and then try to go home and try to recover. Yeah. But they went out there and did what they had to do and won both of them. And then went home and then won that one too. So, now they got to go to New York up 3-2. And after a shutout win, this team could be smelling blood right now.
So we look at all the players that the Rangers get. Tarasenko, what a big trade. He's only got 2 points in this series. Panarin, their leading scorer, their leading points in the regular season, 2 points in this series.
Yeah.
Zibanejad, who was their second leading scorer,
right,
2 points in this series. The guys that they need, Kane's doing what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Adam Fox is doing what he needs to do. They need to get some of these guys that were contributing all season long, and New Jersey's figured a way to shut them down.
How do you think Patrick Kane feels right now?
Yeah, that's what I said.
He went to this team thinking that they're a contender.
It's a done deal. Yeah, it's a lock.
Right. And it should have been. But you know what? All those guys are going into that game that you mentioned, and they're saying, oh, well, Patrick Kane is going to light it up. So I'm just going to coast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening. 2 points. I mean, come on.
Yeah, all those guys. And again, they were all, and Tarasenko, he was very solid. Even when they made the move to get Patrick Kane in the regular season, he still was scoring goals and making plays, and you're not seeing that. Very questionable. Does this series end, Ron? I think it's tomorrow night. I think tomorrow night is tomorrow night's that game.
Yep.
Devils.
I think it does.
It's in New Jersey though.
I think the shutout let the air out of the sails of the Rangers. I think they're probably thinking to themselves, because they're not going to say it out loud. It's like, wow, what just happened?
Yeah.
We just got shut out. We're down 3-2, and
all the pressure's on New York. Yeah.
It's all the pressure, all of it. And look, let's not mistake the talent on that New Jersey Devil team.
Yeah.
And we kept saying this all year. It's a young team. They just need to learn how to win, right? And they learned from players like Palat.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you get those players and you inject that kind of player into a team that has this much talent.
I mean, Palat knows how many times was Tampa Bay down in a series last year, and they came back and won it.
And this is why I said all those guys that they re-signed, that's the guy that they were missing.
Yeah.
They should have re-signed him and let a couple of those others
Yeah,
go.
no, this is a interesting series. I know my buddy Mickey out there, huge Ranger fan. He's already given up on the Rangers. He said they're done.
Yeah.
He's so disappointed in how that's
I'm
turned out.
kind of disappointed too because I really like the way they built that team.
Yeah.
And I really truly believe that all these players are thinking Patrick Kane is going to be the guy.
Yeah. And I mean, he's second in points in the playoffs.
Yeah.
For them. So he's doing what he needs to do.
Yeah.
It's just the guys that they expected to also be alongside him for that ride aren't they're
Kane,
not in the car.
You should have went to the Canes.
Canes to Kane or Boston.
Well, Boston would have been awesome, but
hey, great NHL talk, but we are on to our pick and roll, my friend.
Wait, before we go further, we need to mention the Kraken.
We were going to talk about the Kraken during the predictions.
I'm just saying the Kraken are up 3-2 over Colorado.
I know they are. You said that it was done, that series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I know.
They won the first game. You were like, oh, it's a fluke. Colorado came back and won the next two. And what happened?
Yeah.
Seattle's going on.
Off. They got suspensions and injuries. And
you doubted the Kraken, my friend. Don't doubt the Kraken.
Yep. I also doubted the Oilers, and I also doubted the Maple Leafs.
Yeah. And right now they're all up. All those teams are up. So it's a good time. The NHL playoffs are phenomenal.
That's why you never know who's going to come out.
Always fun. NHL. All right, pick and roll time, my friend.
It's time for pick and roll.
Pick and roll time, and we decided to go back in good time memories of the New England Patriots. So episode 17, I went back 17 years to see some of these draft picks, and we went forward from there. So 17 years ago, the New England Patriots.
I don't like this one.
You don't like this one? Steven Gostkowski.
It was too difficult.
06, right? 08, Matthew Slater. 09, Julian Edelman. 2010, they got Devin McCourty. 2010, they got Rob Gronkowski. 2012, they got Dante Hightower. We're going to rank them from 6 to 1. Who was the best draft pick of the last 17 years for the New England Patriots out of these 6 players, Ron? Lead us off.
All right. You might have something different.
I'm sure
I know you're a huge Matthew Slater fan. And I am too, but, I didn't get crazy.
Okay, you didn't get crazy. You didn't get all crazy on us.
No.
All right.
No. So number 6, I have Dante Hightower.
Okay.
117 games. He had 27 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 353 tackles. I don't find that impressive, actually. All these guys have at least 3 championships, so that's a non-factor.
Yeah. Everyone.
2 Pro Bowls, but I don't care about Pro Bowls.
Yeah, I know how you
Especially
feel about
with
Pro
this
Bowls.
Patriots team. When you look at it, like half the time they weren't even eligible really to go to the Pro Bowl because they were in the Super Bowl half the time.
Yeah.
So it's Dante Hightower. I put at number 6. I think he could have been a whole lot better.
Injuries too with him.
Yeah, he could have been a lot better, but he's sitting there at number 6. Number 5, and this was a surprise to me putting him there. I have Devin McCourty.
Wow.
I think the guy's a fantastic player. 35 interceptions. He had 581 yards?
Yeah, 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I've lost 2 Pro Bowls, 3 championships. But he's good. That's great. I thought the top 5 were great players.
Mm-hmm.
But number 4, I put Steven Gostkowski. You look at the shoes he had to fill, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
When you fill a legend.
Yep.
And then you do exactly what you need to do all that time. 392 field goals made out of 454. I mean, there's a lot of things in there. Like, you just have to have like a random 55-yarder over there, in a game, and it could be like windy. So
Yeah.
it's like when you miss one, but I don't really recall him missing too many
Not a lot of
that
them.
you're supposed to get, you know. So I think he did a really great job kicking for the Patriots. And when he went to Tennessee, that was not cool.
Yeah, it was 1 year though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We'll take
4
it.
Pro Bowls, 2 All Pro. That's the one that I like to see, the All Pros, because that means you're better than your other players that play
Yeah.
your position. So I like that, and that's why I went him number 4. Number 3, I went Matthew Slater because let's face it, I mean, you really don't get numbers for what he
Yeah,
did,
special teams. Yeah,
but he was constant, one of the best. I mean, for the amount of times that the Patriots went to the Super Bowl, he still managed to go to 10 Pro Bowls.
Yeah.
So basically, he went to every Pro Bowl that they weren't in the playoffs.
He is, I believe, 18 years in the league.
Yeah.
He's more than half the time he's been in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Or at least elected to the Pro Bowl.
Right. And look, I think he's probably has to be top 3 all-time special teams. Has to be.
Mhm.
It's not even a question. Top 3. I don't even know who the other 2 would be, because like that's just not.
Steve Tasker from Buffalo is
Yes,
one guy that
there you
sticks
go.
out in my mind a
Yes.
lot. Like that was his role.
Right. So this is what we're talking about. Like there's these guys that they come in and out. They play a couple of years in special teams, and they either make it as a receiver or a DB or somebody, something like that, and then they stop being special teams, or they just are a bust and they leave the NFL. This guy did his job so well that they actually kept the spot for him. You're taking up when you play that position,
Yeah.
you're really taking up a spot from like a receiver or a defensive back for the most part.
Yeah.
So, and he was worth doing that. So that just tells you how special he is. But I just don't think that position really allows for the best players. And even though this guy doesn't have all those Pro Bowls and all that stuff, I just think he's the better player out of all the rest of those that we just mentioned, and that's Julian Edelman. I mean, 620 receptions, 6,800 yards. The touchdowns only 36, but think about all those first downs he got. That's what you got to look at. Average 11 yards per carry. He was a Super Bowl MVP. So I mean, he doesn't have all those trophies and stuff except for those 3, championships.
Mhm.
But I do think he was worthy of being number 2 here, only because of what the position was. When you look at all those, I'm not going to put a kicker over Edelman. I'm not going to put, a special teams guy over Edelman. Definitely not putting Hightower. The only other one that you could make a claim for would be Devin McCourty, and I still think he's better than McCourty. So, therefore, Julian was there. And that left number 1, Rob Gronkowski. And we're going to get the lesson from Eric that why Matthew Slater should be number 1. But Rob Gronkowski he's the best tight end that's ever played.
Okay.
He might not have the durability that like Tony Gonzalez had.
Yeah, he would have shot at every tight end record by far.
He would have, but he was so big they had to go low on him, and that's what does it.
Yeah.
What did it?
No. Listen, we did have it a lot different, but I will say this. This was one of our most difficult because, again, you have to look at it so many different ways.
Look, I had Rob Gronkowski number 1. I was putting him number 1 no matter what because he's definitely the best player.
Yeah.
And I sat there looking at this paper for, I don't know, 30 minutes, and I'm like, who am I putting next?
Yeah. As I was doing this, so I will say this. I'm not going to leave a big mystery. the sandwich part of it, so the bread, we were correct. We're the same. I had Dante Hightower at 6. I had Rob Gronkowski at 1. I think that Rob, to your point, by far, if you look at his numbers,
Julian Edelman
ridiculous.
was my toughest because he
So-
doesn't have any of those
Yeah.
things.
This
and-
is where we differed. I went Julian Edelman at 5.
yeah, I figured you did.
And it's because of the regular season numbers. Then I looked at his playoff stuff. If you look at his playoff numbers, 118 receptions, 1,400 yards, 5 touchdowns. You give him the MVP, but his regular season, it didn't wow me. So I went Slater at 4.
Oh, wow. That's a surprise.
Yeah, and I went Slater at 4. The 10 Pro Bowls, like you said, the 185 tackles, but and I know how important he is. But it would have been nice to see him have some other numbers. I went Gostowski at 3.
Yeah, and I was trying to debate whether Gostkowski was better than Slater. And look,
And the reason why I put him ahead of
it.
it, all-time Patriots leading scorer with 1,775 points.
Yeah.
You know who's second?
It's got to be Vinatieri.
Vinatieri at 1158. He had 600 plus more points
Yeah.
than Vinatieri. The man was automatic. 98.2% from extra point, 86.3 from field goal range. You pretty much, he got in the game. It was a guaranteed field goal.
Absolutely.
And I went McCourty at 2.
Yep.
And I just 900. Well, I did combined tackles, 971 combined tackles, but 35 interceptions, the 7 forced fumble recoveries, 3 sacks, 2 touchdowns. I just felt like he was such a big piece of that backfield for so many years.
That's why I was saying,
That
I'm
was
looking
my
at
reason,
these
yeah.
and I'm saying, I'm not putting Gostkowski and Slater and Hightower above Julian Edelman, even
Yeah.
though he's the only one without a Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm looking at that. It's like, well, the only one that could be is, Devin McCourty, but I have him at number 5. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know what? So it's like,
It was very difficult. This
really
was a hard one.
anything.
This was a very hard one, but it was fun. It was fun, and it's funny how we both look at it a little differently.
No, it wasn't fun. It was stressful. It took me so long to do this.
If it was easy, Ron, what would be the point? Nobody'd want to watch us. Nobody'd want to watch us. Ron, great job with the pick and roll. But we're gonna do predictions here, my friend, and it's back to one game.
Yeah.
Back to one game. I had a winning.
I only put this up for that amount of time.
6-5. You went 5-6. Kenny kept picking different than us, and what did we say was going to happen? 3-7. He's barely over 500 now.
Yeah.
Kenny, if you're on, chime in. If not, send your picks to me.
He might be tired because he was with us all night.
He was late last night with us too for that draft party. But check that one out, the NFL Draft Party. It's on all of our social media platforms. Really good draft insight. Good list. Thank you, my friend Kenny. So let's do this, Ron. Let's try to get back to even. So we're tied again. Let's see how we do. So we are going to start off with the NBA playoffs. You got game 6, and that is tonight between the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. Who do you have?
I'm going with the guys that I said were going to win the series, even when they were down 2-0. Golden State. They're finishing it off tonight.
I said Sacramento would beat the Golden State Warriors. So I am picking Golden State to win this series because I am so disappointed in how Sacramento blew this.
Look,
blew
I
this series.
told you.
They had it. They had it.
No, they didn't. They had nothing.
They let their Draymond thing get into them. Kenny's going Sacramento, so we know what Kenny's going 3-7 again this week. Yeah.
Oof.
Tonight, also, you've got the Memphis Grizzlies at the Los Angeles Lakers. That is game 6. LA's up 3-2. LeBron wants to get some rest. I'm going Lakers here to win this game to end this series.
Yeah, you act like this is a surprise. You picked Memphis to win the series, and
I go the other way.
Here I am picking the Lakers, to win the series, and I'm going to go to the Lakers to finish that off tonight because
man of your word.
I'll say what I want about LeBron, but he has the killer instinct, and so does Curry, and they're getting it done tonight.
Yeah, I like where you headed. Kenny picked the Grizz.
0-2.
Yeah. Uh 4:29. So tomorrow, series opens game 1, Phoenix Suns at the Denver Nuggets.
I'm gonna go Denver. I think they're gonna get it done at least in game 1.
All right. I think Phoenix wants to prove a point. I think they want to win this thing for Chris Paul. You want Phoenix here?
Yeah, sure.
I think
Chris
Phoenix
Paul
is
never
got-
wins.
Chris Paul gets to he got to the final once.
You know, what we're going to see 20 years from now is, a Chris Paul commercial with young Chris Paul.
Oh, like the
How
Charles
many
Barkley.
championships do I win?
Yeah, you'll be surprised. That's
You'll
a good
be
commercial. Though.
surprised.
That was pretty good. Oh, I can't wait to be surprised. Yeah, that's Kenny, Phoenix at Denver. We got an NHL, my friend. Puck's probably dropping any minute now.
Yeah.
Boston Bruins at the Florida Panthers.
I'm going Bruins. They're finishing it off. You don't say to the media that we're guaranteeing a win tonight, and the Bruins are just looking at each other in that dressing room. Is like, are they serious? Do they know who we are?
65 win team.
Yeah.
Kenny's going Bruins. I said this series would go 7 and Boston would lose their next series, which means I'm going Boston Bruins tonight to finish this series out and end it. I am all over the board tonight.
Yeah, you are. All of your predictions are all.
I'm going Oppo. Tonight's Oppo day. 4:28. We have the Colorado, which is tonight, Colorado Avalanche at the Seattle Kraken. Seattle's up 3-2, Ron. Guess who wins this one? Seattle. Seattle wins this game tonight and ends the Colorado Avalanche run. They will not repeat as champions. They are going to lose in the first round.
Yeah, this is the one this is my only prediction this week that really scares me. Because I'm gonna go the Avs, but it's a tentative one. If I'm gonna lose a game this week, this is gonna be the one. Because I think Makar is suspended for tonight's game.
He's out, yes.
So, and they also got a player that is not returning to the team at the moment because of some incident that they had. I can't think of the player's name right now, but he's a very good Nishushkin, whatever his name is. I guess there was a little bit of a problem, and it might have had an alcohol related incident at the hotel. So, so he has left the team. They're stating it's personal reasons, but that's not so good.
Not good.
So
Not good.
I think the team might be a little.
So you're really gambling on this. I know how big you are in gambling.
Yeah.
Kenny, Avalanche at Kraken. So tomorrow, game 6, Toronto Maple Leafs at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Toronto's up 3-2 in this series.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tampa Bay at home. Not thinking that they're going to take this series, though. It's the home team, it's got the advantage. And but I think Ron telling people's business. Oh, yeah. Nishushkin. But so I'm going to go Tampa Bay tonight. Or whenever it is tomorrow.
I'm going Toronto. I'm going Toronto here. I think that the Lightning's run, listen, they've had a great run. It's got to end at some point. And I think tonight's the night. Tonight's the night. I notice how Kenny hasn't picked the last two. Kenny's trying to make sure he doesn't go, for whatever, because he hasn't picked any other ones.
Is Rod Stewart doing the national anthem? Because tonight's the night.
I want Kenny to make a pick is what I want. Kenny has dodged. He didn't pick the Avalanche Kraken game, and he hasn't picked the Maple Leafs Lightning game. Kenny, I know you hear me. I need to see some picks here, buddy.
Yeah, well,
That's all right.
Hey, Lightning can only strike so many times.
I think he's smoking right now, but he went.
No, he's having some Rice Krispies.
Ah, okay.
Snap, crackle.
What about Maple Leafs Lightning, Kenny? Maple Leafs Lightning. Who do you have? the crack. I can't. He's got the maple. He's got maple. Oh,
maple.
I love Kenny. I
Now
love
it
you,
makes me
Kenny.
want pancakes.
Right? Nice maple syrup. May 2nd, you got the this is an interesting series, Ron, because you got the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Tampa Bay Rays. How many times do you think we would have ever said that as one of the top series in Major League Baseball?
I would have never thought that.
And here we are today.
Yeah.
Whose pick is it? Mine?
I
I'll
don't
go.
know.
I'll go. I've got the Pirates here. Pirates are one of the best teams in baseball right now. They're actually second on Sports Unfolded Major League Baseball rankings this week. Second.
Yeah, I thought I was like hallucinating or something.
Yeah, they're playing well. Kenny went Tampa.
Yeah, I'm going the Pittsburgh Pirates as well.
Going to Pirates, baby.
I'm still not sold on Tampa Bay. I know
Yeah.
we do this every year, but you know.
You may be right. You may be right.
Yes, Billy.
Big playoff games coming up as well in the XFL, the South Division Championship. Arlington Renegades at the Houston Roughnecks.
You know, why don't we do these
That's
first
at the 29th.
and do like all the bigger games, better games?
This is a big game. This is the playoffs, man. This is to go to the championship.
Okay.
We
I'm
ain't
going-
talking about this is
I'm going
championship
Houston.
bound.
I'm going Houston.
The team you pick, Ron, is going to the championship.
Yes.
Houston.
Houston.
I'm going Houston as well
Yeah.
because we have a problem. Kenny?
Yeah, because the Renegades always let me down.
Oh, I don't know what Kenny's doing. Kenny's sleeping. Roughnecks. He's going Roughnecks.
Don't forget, he might be on a little delay.
Yeah, he's delayed. April 30th, you have the North Division Championship in the XFL, and that's the Seattle Sea Dragons at the DC Defenders.
Yeah, how did they end up having the north-south? You might think with the time
West
zones
and-
they
yeah,
go
like the
east,
West and East.
South.
Yeah, I don't.
stupid.
It makes sense.
This is one of the problems with these leagues because they say, "Oh, let's do it the other way, so that way it's not the same." Yeah, well, guess what? There's a reason why they do East and West. But I'm going Defenders because they're going to be at homes. The Sea Dragons have to travel all the way across.
I agree. Look, the Defenders been the best team all year in the XFL. I think they continue that run at home. I'm going DC Defenders as well. Kenny's going Sea Dragons in the upset. He is literally going to lose like 7 games. Oh, Kenny and his predictions. Although he does have Detroit going to the Super Bowl now. So, Ron, as we normally do, we end each and every show with our final thoughts. But before we do so, can you tell all the fine people out there how they can support our show and sponsor our show?
I could, Eric. It's so simple. All you have to do is send us an email to right there on the screen, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information. But really, what you need to know is it costs less than going to your favorite coffee shop and getting a large coffee and a donut.
Outstanding. And if you'd like to send bits, stars, you can donate those to our program as well.
Absolutely.
Follow us on all our social media platforms that have been kind of scrolling through at Sports Unfolded. Rhode Island Broadcasting has a few at RI Broadcasting, Broadcasting RI on Twitter. So many different ways to follow us, watch us, subscribe, like, comment, share the show. Make sure other people see it because we want as many people as possible to be able to watch this content and join in. It's all about the fans out there. Kenny, you are an amazing, loyal fan and on every single week. And it's so much fun when we get our fans to chime in. But Ron, it is that time of the show where we're going to end up with our final thoughts. You are first tonight, my friend. So have at it. I wonder where you're going with this.
Yeah, well, you mentioned time, and I feel like years came off of my life last night. Look, we all love watching the draft, but it's supposed to be fan friendly. Fan friendly is not milking every minute of our soul just so you can put commercial after commercial and stupid crap all over it, and you lose people halfway through it because of that. And I think last year it was like just over 3 hours, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah.
And this year, 4+ hours. 4+ hours. I mean, I believe the last hour you only had 4 picks in that 1 hour. It's like it is just excruciating. When teams have 10 minutes on the clock, they have 10 minutes on the clock, and then the clock ends and the next team goes on. None of this 25, 30 minutes for a team to make a pick, because that's exactly what you would do. And you would come out, you say, oh, the pick is in. Then we go to 5 minutes of commercials and then 5 minutes of stupidness that we're watching on there. Oh, everybody's pumping each other. Oh, yeah, we got this guy. And he stunk. You know, it was a terrible play. It was a terrible pick at the time, almost all night, and you wasted the fans' lives last night. Wasted it.
Thank you, Ron, for that. I'm sure you're going to be, we'll be all right, though. We got through it. But thank you for your final thought. I got two quick ones. One of them is one of your favorite guys, though. And I had to point this out. Ron,
Again, see, this is what we don't need.
Ron, I wanted to let you know that your boy's back. And he needs to go away yet again, because now Antonio Brown has decided to post that he's coming back, and he's going back because Lamar Jackson is with the Ravens and he wants to be a Raven, and he's going to be returning to the NFL. Nobody cares. Nobody should be advertising this, because all you're doing is encouraging this man to continue to post on social media. He is not worth anyone's time. Nobody's going to pick him up. And there's literally people out there thinking this is a true story now.
I didn't
He
even
is
think he was
not
still alive.
Yeah, he is not going to the Baltimore Ravens. He is literally just trying to get more attention so he can continue to make money on his social media platforms. Do not support this man. He is nothing but garbage. That was my first one. The second one, I want to talk about a great human being who deserves an opportunity, and that's Becky Hammond.
Oh, come on. Oh,
No, I'm sorry. I was so close. I was thinking you were next. If I had three, Ron, you were going to be that third one. Becky Hammond is going to interview for the Toronto Raptors job. If there is ever a time that she can prove that she can coach the Las Vegas Sparks, not Sparks, what is the Las Vegas Aces? Las Vegas Aces won the championship under her tutelage. She proved that she can coach anywhere, anytime. Give this woman a shot. It doesn't matter that she's a woman or a man. It doesn't matter. She can coach. Let her coach in the NBA where she belongs. In Toronto, I give you all the credit in the world for giving her an opportunity to interview for that position. I hope they make the right call. And I hope they don't look at it as what gender she is, but her coaching knowledge and what she brings to the table. So good luck, Becky Hammond, on that in that interview. I think that's a great opportunity for the NBA to finally get some inclusion in the coaching world. That is my final thought. Ron, I want to thank you for tonight's time. I know you're disappointed it's not 4 hours in 15 minutes. So we'll have to do. You don't want to do rounds 2 and 3 tonight of the NFL draft?
No, Eric. I don't.
Shoot. Don't forget, tune in to Bruins tonight. Game 6, very big if you're a Boston Bruins fan. Obviously, a lot of Game 6s tonight as well in the NBA, so we're going to have some fun. We're going to continue to talk about these each and every week. Ron, I will see you next Friday, my friend. You take care. Kenny, thanks for joining us live. Everyone that's going to join after, chime in, follow those social media platforms, and share the show. We appreciate all all the support. So, Ron, each and every night, all I ever ask for is peace on earth.
Have a good night, everybody.